Hiya. So today's video is about weight loss. And one of the things I've observed is that people have a real struggle about weight loss. On one hand, they want to lose weight, and on the other hand, they want to fit in with the crowd. They want to continue going to the social events and all the rest. My opinion is that you need to cut out some of that, so those social events. You have no choice. And you also need to put yourself first. Number one. At the end of the day, the world revolves around you as an individual. We also have community. Everything depends on you as an individual functioning in at your peak level. You can't function at your peak level, and I know this from personal experience, but you can't function at your peak level in any way, even in the social group, if you're not satisfying yourself. I always say, put your own mask on first. You know that one that's in the airplane and the airplane's going down, and they always tell you to put your own mask on first. And I believe that in life as well. And I think that we should be a community, but number one has to be your own looking after yourself. And you're also influencing. We're all influencers. You don't have to be on social media. You don't have to be on TikTok. You don't have to be on Snapchat. We are all influencers. We influence the people around us. And sometimes we don't want to have that power. We want to suppress that part of ourselves. And in a way, that is part of the obesity epidemic problem, is that we want to please. We want to please other people. We want, if they say, oh, let's have a scone, we don't want to say no. And the other part is when you're eating carbs all the time, you're fucking starving. So you want the scone. I was exactly like that. So it's not only the social setting, it's also the desperation for the next fix, the next glucose fix. So the thing about the ketogenic diet and my version of the ketogenic diet as well, which is a little bit more flexible and kind of be part of real life, is that you can say no because you're not hungry, and you can say no in a way that is like, I still drink coffee, so I can go to a coffee shop. I will have milk in my coffee if they have no cream in the coffee shop. I'm not going to be awkward. I see some of the keto people online, and they go in and they say, what kind of oil is this cooked in? If I don't go out that often, like most people nowadays with the cost of living crisis. Most of us are not going out that often. So when I do go out, I'm not going to ask the chef. Of course, I know what kind of oil he has. I worked in a kitchen and I worked as a waitress. Of course, I know what kind of oil they have in the kitchen. I don't care. I don't think there's any need to be like, that's part of the whole, beauty of those places, is that they're cooking in that oil that everybody else got their food out of. That's the community element. But when you go on keto, even though you have those 3 days, it's very strict. You have to just get the carbs out completely. Now, I'm an all or nothing person. Some people, they can weed out the carbs over time. I had to go cold turkey because that's the only way I can operate. If there's any sniff of a carb, if my blood sugar level is rising even a little bit, I'm looking for the next fix. I'm looking for the next scone, the next bit of white flour. White flour is your worst enemy in this case. I love white flour. I think white flour is great, but don't eat it 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times a day. That's the only difference. So when you're doing the switch from insulin resistance, which is where you want to get away from, to insulin sensitivity, which is where you want to go to, you have to be a little bitch to yourself. You have to cut all carbs. Well, that's what I did. You can do it bit by bit, but it's kind of difficult that way. I would just take a day off work, start on a Thursday evening, and don't eat with the family. Like, that's a big mistake. People, I've had a few people come to me and they said, oh, but I can't. I'm cooking for everybody. I did a 10-day water fast. I cooked for everybody, and I survived. You've got to be strict, and I'm the worst. I have no discipline whatsoever. But and it was hard. It was hard, but you've got to do it. I did a 7-day water fast recently, and nobody even flipping noticed. And I cooked all the dinners. But I did go to bed early, sometimes because just so it wouldn't be, because it's in the evening that you could get cut out. So it would be easy for me to say that the ketogenic diet is great for your health. I mean, I cannot tell you. I can almost feel every organ in my body going, thank you, we're not worthy, we're not worthy, to me. And I feel like I've done something amazing for myself. And I, even if I go to a coffee shop now, I don't need the injection of the carbs. Whereas I used to at the beginning. Of course, you gotta avoid these places at the beginning, but continue to have a vice. You know, like my vice is coffee, and I mean, I love alcohol. I love all sorts of yummy things. I love going to restaurants. I'm not going to ask them to cook the food the way I cook it at home. I want to have the the bad food if I'm going to a restaurant. I want to have. That's why we go out. That's why we socialize. We're social beings. We're part of that big picture. And sometimes we feast, and sometimes we don't feast. The thing is that nowadays humans, the obesity epidemic shows that we're feasting all the time. We're feasting. We don't realize it though. It's not your fault. Like, it's very difficult because that injection of the rise in your blood sugar level, it's like a fucking high. It's hard. It's hard. I had it myself, it's hard, so hard, and it's so nice. And that's the reason it's nice, is that it's a human survival mechanism, and it's so important. And I kind of hate when people kind of say, oh, we don't eat carbs, or humans are designed to eat everything. We're omnivorous for a reason, and that's why we survive so well. So don't be hard on yourself. This constant desire for the sugar, you don't think it's sugar because it's a scone, or it's porridge, it's overnight oats, it looks and feels, it's rice in your food. It looks and feels like it's not a sugar hit. That is, anything with carbohydrates in it, any refined carbs is a sugar hit. Even a carrot at the beginning, don't eat a carrot, don't eat a potato. I mean, I was raised on potatoes, but we didn't eat that. We didn't eat that much because I grew up on a farm. But and we ate a lot of good food, but still, there's insulin resistance in potatoes. There's nothing wrong with potatoes. I love potatoes at Christmas and stuff, but I limit them. So weight loss begins this is a long term. I mean, I'm nearly a year now, and I am loving life more than ever. I feel better now. I didn't even think I could feel better than I did 6 months ago. I feel better than I did I feel incredible. I feel amazing. I'm not doing it for longevity. I really couldn't give a crap about that. I'd rather have a happy life. I'd rather have a bit of fun, a bit of enjoyment. Like, life is too short for too much regiment. I think that's wrong too. I think it's kind of bad. I'm not saying people shouldn't do it. Let that up to Brian Johnson. You can have a look at him on YouTube. He's got a kind of a protocol for longevity. I'm really not interested in that. I'm interested in, all I wanted to do initially was just stop constantly having cravings for food. Whereas now I never crave. Yeah, I'm hungry sometimes. Yeah, of course, like anybody. There's times when you're caught out in the car and you didn't bring food and you whatever. So yeah, you might be a little bit hungry, or you went to the shops and you forgot you should have eaten beforehand. That happens to everybody. But that panic, that unbelievable hunger, the need to have that fix of a slice of bread or whatever it is gone. And I never feel it now. So, I wanted something long term as well. Like, you'd be sick of yo-yo dieting. Why do you want to do that? But every diet I ever did, and I've done some expensive diets, every diet I ever did always involved carbs in every meal. Whereas this is just a game changer, and you can eat a lot of food. I've shown people the plates of food I eat. I have them in another video. I'll link it below. I've shown people the plates of food I eat. They cannot believe the quantities that you can eat, because you're not spiking your blood glucose. And you're eating food that is keeping you satisfied for a long time. Lots of fat and protein. Fat and protein should be your number one. It's a very hard concept to get around because the food pyramid, and because we've been taught all the time to put carbs first. But you've got to be selfish. I kind of hate telling people to be selfish, but when you're selfish, if you do what's right for you, everything else will fall into place. That is the key. Everybody goes on about, depression and feeling bad physically and whatever. Everything, as far as I can see, is solved by what you put into your body and how you look after yourself. And everything comes from that then. You feel better, you do better, you look better, you want to go walking more because you feel better. And it's a game changer. You won't understand it until you walk that line, but it is a game changer. And I hope you do it. I hope you try. Look at some of my TikToks on my food or my shorts. See you soon. Bye.